All right, hello everybody. We're going to get started. I am here, and maybe I'll turn on my webcam so that perhaps you can see us. So my name is Katie, and I'm the International Programs Officer at Charles University at the Faculty of Arts. And I have with me my colleague Renata from the AIFS office here in Prague.
Yeah, hello to everybody. I'm going to run the program with you in summer, so we both with Katie definitely looking forward to have you soon here in Prague.
Yeah. So we've gone ahead and muted everybody's mic just because the audio feedback can be really sort of too distracting. But if you have any questions at all, please pop them in the chat box in the GoToMeeting screen, and we'll be checking that regularly just to see that you have any, in case you have any questions. The other thing is that we're going to just be recording the webinar so that your peers will be able to view it back later on YouTube in case they weren't able to make it. So we'll go ahead and get started. So the first thing that we want to describe is actually what ECES is and what the difference between that and AIFS is. So I think I'll let Renata take over.
Hi everyone. I guess you know that you enrolled and applied to the program through AIFS. And as you see, there are like main bullet points which distinguish AIFS and Charles University, the Eastern Central European Studies. We just call it ECES for you. The main distinction is that AIFS is responsible for anything beyond the academic side of the program, to make it very simple for you. So we, as you see, we are responsible for student services here on the spot, culture activities which we provide for you, and which, important to say, are included in your fee which you paid, for the program. So any culture activity will be free of charge for you on the spot, apart from the optional trips. We can speak about it a bit later. We provided the housing, so you'll be in touch with us according to concerning the dormitory. We do the emergency support, but Katie also, the Charles University, does the same. But we would be very pleased if you first, contact us, as we the first contact the actual person to deal with this any emergency. Sending transcripts at the end of the program to your home universities also in our power, and we'll definitely in touch with the home university in case it's needed. There will be on-site AIFS orientation after your arrival, and maybe Katie will just mention the main responsibilities from their side, so you can compare it and to know what's the main difference. So maybe Katie, you will do that?
Sure. So I am facilitating the Eastern Central European Studies program. So like Renata said, we abbreviate this as ECES. And this is a university program at the Faculty of Arts that allows English-speaking students to attend classes at the university. So this is a direct enrollment program which you're enrolling in through AIFS, but this makes you all ECES and Charles University students. So while you are AIFS students, you are also ECES students. And on our end, we're responsible entirely for your academic program. So scheduling all of the classes, working with all of our professors. We provide your transcript to AIFS to send to your home institutions. We also do an on-site orientation in cooperation with AIFS. And we offer some extra cultural activities that are available in case you're not participating in those with AIFS. You can join ours. There is a small extra fee, but in case you're interested in those, they're available to you as well. And as Renata said, we also provide emergency support as sort of a backup option in case for whatever reason you can't get in touch with them. We're always, of course, available for you as well. I should also mention that the ECES program does not consist only of AIFS students. There are actually over 100 students studying on the ECES program this summer, including about 45 from AIFS. So this means that you'll be studying alongside students from all over the world. So the ECES program brings students in the summer from Singapore, from Hong Kong, from the US and Canada, Thailand, Australia, really a very international group. So this will provide you with the opportunity to meet students not only from AIFS and from your home institutions, but also students really from all over the world. But it's important to keep in mind that you're actually not the only students that will be taking these classes. There are some others that will be studying alongside you. So in terms of the program, this is important for all of you. The first being course registration. So that will begin on Monday, May 23rd, and I'll explain how exactly that will work in a little bit. Your arrival day is June 21st to Prague. And then your orientation with us begins on Thursday. So there's 3 full days of orientation. One of those days is a mandatory day trip outside of Prague, which will give you insight into the history and culture of the country. And then 2 days of orientation, which includes some meetings and also a survival Czech seminar where you'll get your first taste of the Czech language and Czech culture. On Sunday, June 25th, we have some optional orientation activities for you as well to introduce you to some local students and also to some local landmarks, and I'll explain that in a bit. And then your courses begin on June 26th, and they meet in general Monday through Thursday, although I'll explain how that can vary a little bit as well. And you'll have the first 3 days of your courses to decide on which ones you'd like to take. So all of our courses meet for about 2.5 hours, 4 days a week. And so you'll have by Wednesday or by Tuesday have had all of your courses at least twice. And so this means that you'll have the opportunity to try out the courses that you have, and if you decide that you really don't like one, you can drop it, add another one, so you have some flexibility there. But keep in mind that whichever courses are on your schedule by the end of the day, Wednesday, will be on your final transcript. So it's important that you finalize your schedule before that time. And then at the end of the summer, we'll have a farewell party, and we will have our departure day on Saturday, July 22nd. So the first thing that I'm going to go through with you is actually registering for our website. So I'm going to demo it now, but I will also be sending you later today your pre-departure guide from the university, which will also include instructions on how to do this so that you don't need to necessarily do it along with me, although you can do. So you'll go to eces.ff.cuni.cz, which you can see up here. Ooh, nope. Wrong. And then you'll click this register button in the top right-hand corner. Once you get to this page, you'll put in your first name, so we're sampling with somebody with my name. And then you'll put in your date of birth, and what did I choose? 1995. And click register. So once you've clicked register, you will be able to choose a username and a password, so we can use my email address, and you can choose whatever password that you want, and then register. So once you've registered, you'll be able to use those login details at the top. If for some reason you get an error message at any point during the registration process, just send me an email with your full name, full correct name, and your date of birth, and I'll check in the system to make sure that there's no issues there. So once you've registered, you'll log in. And log in. Okay, so then once you've signed in, you'll see this page. The most important thing for you right now is this course schedule here on the left side. And so this is where you'll actually find our full list of courses for the summer, as well as their schedules and the syllabi. So if you want to see a course syllabus, you'll click on the course title, and then you'll scroll to the bottom of the page and download the syllabus. And you'll see a syllabus like this for every course. So our syllabi are actually in a template version. They should all look pretty similar, and it will give you a really good idea of exactly what to expect from the course. I strongly encourage you to actually read through the entire syllabus for every course you're considering registering for, so that you have a really clear understanding of what's expected from you in that course. It happens sometimes that students register for a course thinking it will be one thing and end up finding out later it's something that they didn't expect, and this usually is avoided if you read the syllabus. But if you have any questions about any of the courses while you're deciding which courses to register for, please just send me an email and I'm more than happy to discuss the courses with you. So in terms of registering for classes, you can register for up to 4 classes. I would say that that's a pretty ambitious schedule. Most of our students register for 1 or 2 classes. Renata is vigorously shaking her head.
That's, I think, what you can also read at AIFS website, that when we actually count 3 courses, we consider it quite demanding, you know, academic schedule. So really reconsider what's your capacity, you know, what you need to bring, how many courses, credits you need to bring back, you know, home, and be realistic about your expectations. If I may add one more thing at this point, please also make sure that once you register for the courses, you should also consult it back with your university advisor to have these courses approved in advance, not to come up in a situation that you register for the course and suddenly you realize that your university for some reason don't accept this choice. So double check with your back home like advisor, home university advisor, before you really finally, you know, choose the course.
Sure, and that's another reason why the syllabi are available online for you, because you can download them and send them to your academic advisor or your study abroad advisor, and they should be able to tell you what the equivalency will be at your home university and what credits you can expect to bring back. All of the courses in this program are worth 3 US credits, so it's a fairly standard credit system that you're probably used to at home. It's a similar number of contact hours, for example, so typically that's not an issue. More so, it's typically the content of the course. So yes, up to 4 courses. We recommend between 1 and 3, 3 being also fairly ambitious. But we've made our scheduling easier for this summer, which you benefit from. So I will bring up the schedule in Excel form so that you can see exactly how it will work, which is that we have 5 blocks of time during which our courses will meet, and the same course meets every day at the same time in the same place. So once you've picked a course, you know that you have something during that time block and you cannot choose any of the other courses that meet in that block. We've tried to do our best to spread out the courses as much as possible and have it make sense so that similar courses aren't conflicting in case you need 2 for your major at your home institution or something like this. But of course, it's impossible to schedule all of them so that they don't conflict at all. So I'm sorry if 2 of the courses that you are interested in conflict, but I hope that we can help you find a suitable replacement if that happens. The other thing that I'll mention, which is very important, is this here at the bottom. There's some makeup classes for these courses. So this means that on July 5th and 6th, for both German Jewish literature and the urban semiotics course, that there will be no classes those 2 days, but instead there will be 2 class sessions on June 30th, which is a Friday. So if you want to take either of these courses, you need to keep in mind that you need to be in Prague on that Friday, June 30th, in order to make up 2 class sessions. So if you were to miss that day, it would be the equivalent of 2 full absences. The other important note is that for this Czech and European Art and Architecture course, there is a day trip on July 7th, which is a Friday, and so this means that you won't have classes July 10th through 13th, but you will have class all day on July 7th that you'll be responsible for attending. So if you want to take this course, you must be in Prague on July 7th in order to attend this day trip. And these are the 3 exceptions that I mentioned to the course scheduling. All other courses will meet regularly Monday through Thursday, every day for 4 weeks at their usual scheduled times. Okay? All right. So So the other thing that I want to mention about our courses, which our students have mentioned in the past would have been helpful to know and would be helpful to know, is that our professors expect a more independent style of learning from our students. This is a very typical style of learning for European universities, but it may be something that you're not very used to from your home institution. This means that there will be a lot of readings assigned for the classes, but maybe not a lot of assignments which are due and graded. So when you're looking at the course syllabi, you may notice that there's only one or two assignments for a class, or one paper and one test for a class, but this doesn't mean that that course is going to be really easy. It just means that there's only one paper and one test for the class. Likely, it also means that there's a lot of required readings that you must complete, and really you need to complete them in order to be successful in the class. So this goes back again to the syllabus point that I was making earlier, that when you're looking through to choose your classes, I encourage you not to look through and choose your classes based on the number of assignments they have, but rather the course topics and your interests and your requirements at your home institution, because a small number of assignments does not necessarily equate to an easy class. In some cases, the courses with the fewest number of assignments actually are the most difficult based on student feedback. So be really conscientious of that, because really a lot will be expected of you in terms of reading and preparing for course discussion. And with that, we also expect a lot of personal responsibility from you in terms of your academics. And this means that if you are unclear about something, if you have a question or a concern or a problem, that you should talk to your professor. The professors here are really used to students being very independent, which means that they are not going to constantly harass you to ask if you have questions. Instead, they will only answer your questions if you ask them. So our professors are incredibly nice and welcoming and warm and receptive to questions, but they can only answer them if you ask them. So we encourage you to be in regular contact with your professors. You'll see them every day, so it'll be really easy for you to arrange a time to meet with them before or after class one of the days if you're unclear about something. And of course, if you ever have an issue in one of your classes, you can always come speak to me in my office, and I'll be happy to help with that. But it's important to know in advance that these are the expectations in the courses. So course registration will begin on May 23rd at midnight in Prague, which means that on the east coast of the US it will be 6 p.m. on May 22nd. And you can see some of the other time differences. Please Google the time difference based on your location on May 23rd at midnight in Prague, so that way you can be online at that time to register. Spaces in courses are given on a first-come, first-served basis, which means that we can't guarantee any student a space in any specific class, because some courses, of course, are more popular than others. Some may fill up. If you register for a course which is already full, you'll automatically be placed on a wait list. And then if enough spaces in the course become available, you'll automatically be moved from the wait list into the course. So I can show you as well how you'll go about registering for courses. So back on our website, we're on the art photography page. So this is after we've clicked on the course title, like this. So once you get to this page, you'll see just under the schedule a button called Sign In. So if you click on that, on May 23rd, you will be signed into the course. If you do it now, you'll be told that it's not currently possible to sign into the course. So yeah, on May 23rd, once you click that button, you'll be signed in. So I encourage you to try to be online when registration begins if there are certain courses that you really need to get into. And with that being said, as Renata mentioned, I encourage you also to get more courses approved than you plan to take. And this is for a couple of reasons. In case you don't get into one of the courses that you wanted to take, you have some backup options. And also, it's possible that when you get to Prague and you attend the first lecture, you'll decide that this course really isn't for you. And it's better for you to already have some other backups pre-approved before that happens. So that way it's super easy for you to just drop that one, add another, and you don't have to stress about it once you're in Prague. You don't have to think about it. You can just have that option available to you.
I think if I can just add something to Katie, I fully agree what she said, and the reason why we do this webinar and why we also send the webinar, to the rest of those who can't participate today. It's exactly, this is the reason, to try to avoid any conflicts, any problems, any issues later when you come to the sport. Please really go through the syllabus once more, have approved more than what you ideally would like to take, you know, because as Katie said, really the registration and sign-in for the courses goes on the first serve, you know, some basis. So it means that you really have to be ready, either to be luckily involved and sign into the course at the beginning, or you would be waitlisted, or you have some backup courses, you know, to replace your ideal choice. So please make enough, you know, time to consider this and check it with your home professors and advisors.
Okay, so moving on to some more fun things. In terms of ECES orientation, after you arrive on Wednesday, we actually don't start with our activities until Thursday. So you'll have your AIFS orientation meeting in the morning, and I'm sure that Renata will send you plenty of information about what that will look like. You will also obtain your Charles University student ID cards that morning, which will mean that you'll need your passport with you, and in case anybody cares, this is picture day. So that will be happening in the morning, and then you'll attend a welcome meeting for all of those students who are attending the ECS program so that we can go over some more important academic details, and also so that the university can formally welcome you to Prague. And then in that afternoon, you will have your first Survival Czech Language and Culture seminar. So this will be a 4-hour seminar, which will be the first half of your introduction to the Czech language and culture. On Friday, you will have the second half of that Survival Czech Language and Culture seminar, and then we'll head over to a reception on a river cruise, which means having dinner and enjoying the view of Prague from the river, which is a really beautiful evening. Hopefully we'll have as good weather as you see in this picture, which was our river cruise, I believe, last summer.
Pete usually guarantees the nice weather, so we hope that this time
I do my best. So that will be the last day of orientation in Prague, and then you'll have one day of orientation outside of Prague, which is the ECES day trip. So this summer there will be 4 different options for the day trips, which I can show you also on our website. So if we go back to the website, if you click here, trips and activities on the left side of the page, just scroll down a bit. Up the top here, you'll see 4 options. So the first is Kutná Hora, which is actually the photo that I just showed. And this is a trip to a former silver mining town outside of Prague. So it gives you the chance to see the famous Bone Church, and also the silver mines and some really beautiful architecture and cathedrals. The second option is a trip to the Lidice Memorial and a memorial in Prague to the heroes of the Heydrich Terror. If you've seen the movie Anthropoid, you know the story of Lidice. If you have not seen the movie Anthropoid, I encourage you to watch it before you come to Prague, because it will give you a great insight into Czech resistance during World War II. But essentially, this is a memorial to a Czech village outside of Prague, which was completely destroyed by the Nazis during the Third Reich. So you'll have the chance to tour the town of Lidice with a great guide that we have here in Prague, and she'll explain to you exactly how this occurred. And then you'll also visit the place in Prague where these heroes actually were eventually found and murdered for actually assassinating Reinhard Heydrich, who was a Nazi official. So this is, of course, a bit more somber trip, but it's also incredibly historically important to Czech history and culture. So it's option 2. Option 3 is something you may have heard of, which is the Terezín former concentration camp and ghetto. So this was a concentration camp also during World War II, and you'll have the chance to tour with a local guide. And then the fourth option is a day trip to Český Krumlov, which is a beautiful town in southern Bohemia. If you Google image Český Krumlov, you'll see why you may want to visit this place. It's a really, really incredible spot, and so you'll have a tour of the town as well as a visit to and some free time to walk around. You'll be able to go to the castle if you'd like. It's the second largest castle in the Czech Republic, and it's a really, really beautiful spot right on the river. So these are the 4 options. You will choose one of them, and like courses, there are limited spaces in each of these. So these are also given on a first-come, first-served basis, and the registration for these trips will begin the day after course registration in the same way. So at midnight on May 24th in Prague, registration for the trips will begin. So if there's one that you really, really want to go to, I encourage you to be online at that time so you can register for it right away.
Remember that you have to choose one because this is the mandatory, so you have to really register, for one of these options.
Yeah, and if you don't register for one on your own, after registration is over, we'll actually add those who haven't registered for one to the one that's remaining. So if you have an opinion on which one you'd like to go to, yeah, we encourage you to sign up for it as soon as you can, so that way you get on the one that you want. Okay, so then on Sunday you have some optional activities with us. We organize a scavenger hunt in Prague with some Czech students, so you can see here some pictures from previous scavenger hunts. This is a chance for you to give yourself a tour of Prague really and explore some of the city's most famous landmarks, but also some of the more hidden ones with a local student. It gives you the chance to meet some other ECES students as well as some Czech students. And then afterwards, you'll have the chance to buy yourself some lunch with the whole group who did the scavenger hunt. And if you'd like to, in the afternoon, there's also the option to do a Prague Castle tour. This one is not free. I think it's about 125 Czech crowns, which is about $5 US. So this is an optional event for you if you'd like. And you can do all 3. They are timed in such a way that you would be able to participate in all 3 if you're interested. And then in addition to this, throughout the course of the summer, there's some optional activities that the university offers in addition to those that AIFS offers for you. So the first is the Prague Castle tour, which I mentioned. The second, we're doing a day trip to Český Krumlov because only about a quarter of the students will have this trip during orientation. This is another opportunity for you to participate if you'd like to. And then we'll have a day trip to Český Raj, which is a hiking trip in an area of the Czech Republic called Bohemian Paradise. It's a really beautiful place. On the bottom right corner of the screen, you'll see pictures of the famous sandstone formations in this part of the country. So that's a hiking trip. And actually, on the bottom left, you can see Český Krumlov, so you'll see how beautiful it is. And then the last trip we're offering this summer is one to a town called Karlovy Vary. This is a spa town on the border of Czech Republic and Germany. And it's a really interesting place culturally. It's a really beautiful place. It has natural hot springs. And there's also some really beautiful nature surrounding the town. So you'll have the chance to visit that if you'd like to.
Yeah, as Katie mentioned, all these trips, we try always to avoid, conflicting the dates, but as we have only 1 month in summer for the whole program, so as you can see, please, for those ones who sign up for the optional trip to Krakow, make sure, that you do not sign at the same time for any option activity with ECES, so make sure that you have the right dates in your diary. Optional trip to Krakow will start on July the 7th, Friday, very early in the morning. We're returning, Sunday evening. Karlovy Vary trip from ECES, it's actually conflict, unfortunately, with AIFS Moravian trip, but this is a trip where we always bring the whole group of the students. It's like our group gathering, and it's included in your fee, so you do not pay anything, and we expect you really to go with us as the whole group. We might have it as a kind of farewell as well, because this time we schedule it at the end of the program, as you can see.
Okay, so in terms of some practical considerations, we recommend, of course, that you call your credit card company and your bank to let them know that you'll be traveling in advance. So This is actually really important because if you come to Prague and you haven't called your credit card company and your bank beforehand, and then you use your card in Prague, it's possible that they'll cancel your card thinking that it's been stolen and is being used fraudulently in the Czech Republic. If you're not traveling often especially, this might happen, and every time it happens to at least one student, and it's really a huge pain to get a new card sent to you or to unlock your account at that point. So it's really important that you call them and tell them that you'll be traveling to Czech Republic, and also if you plan to travel to any other countries like Krakow in Poland, let them know that you'll be traveling also there, so that way they don't block it when you go there. We also recommend, of course, that you buy European-style adapters for your electronics. So the plug shape in Europe is different than the plug shape in the US. And you can buy small, fairly inexpensive adapters pretty much anywhere: Walmart, Target, Amazon, Best Buy, Radio Shack, if they still exist. All of these places will sell really cheap adapters that you can use. Most of your electronics will automatically convert voltage for you. So this is like your laptop, phone, camera, these sorts of things typically convert voltage automatically. The only thing that I'll warn you about is to be careful of heat-producing appliances. This is things like hair dryers and hair straighteners, curling irons, things of that nature. These you need to use a voltage converter for, and even if you do use a voltage converter, sometimes they can still overheat. If you want to purchase inexpensive ones once you get here, you can do that, and that's what I recommend doing. I can actually tell you a personal horror story of one time when I straightened my hair in London using a voltage converter and an American straightener and melted my hair, and it can happen. I was doing everything right and I still had no bangs. So just be really careful with those, and if you're worried about it, or even if you're not worried about it, I encourage you to pick up inexpensive ones once you get here.
Maybe one more note to this topic, because since when you arrive and you be living at the dorm, which we provide at Masarykova dorm in Prague 6, we will provide you, for AIFS students, we will provide the adapters for your computers. So when talking about the adapters which you would need to log in into the Ethernet at the dorm, we will provide you, so you don't have to be worried about this. We even have the adapters which fit into the latest model of Mac. So you should be fine concerning, these adapters used for the computers.
Yeah, but still picking up one or two for just your phone while you're traveling is useful, okay, and then the other thing that I recommend is to start learning some Czech. So this might seem like a really lofty goal, and I can understand. As you might have guessed, I'm not from the Czech Republic, I'm from the US, and I can understand how difficult Czech is to learn. However, it's incredibly useful if you come to Prague already understanding at least the pronunciations of the words and the different sounds that the Czech language has, which English does not have. There's an app called Memrise, which I recommend. It's an app that you can download, and you can actually download lessons and use them offline. It's sort of similar to Duolingo, but you can actually use it offline. The other thing is that apparently Duolingo should be releasing a beta version of English to Czech in July, so you'll catch the tail end of it, but if you want to download Duolingo before you come, hopefully in the middle of your program you'll have Duolingo to use as well. And then the last thing that you can do is also get an ISIC card. Charles University in general recommends that students get an ISIC card. This is an international student identity card. It's something that you can buy online. I think it's about $25, and you'll have it shipped to you at home. If you want to do this, I encourage you to do it as soon as possible because it takes about 3 weeks to get to you. And it will provide you discounts in Prague and all over Europe. On their website, you can actually see which discounts are available with the card, and you can decide if you think it will be worth to you getting one.
Maybe for those ones who decide not to, go for and apply for this ISIC, we have to point out that once you are the Charles University students, you will have that student ID here, and it also works like for some of the local discount, but you can't be sure that it's so, such a range of discounts are not included in this particular Charles University student card. So the ISIC definitely works, internationally. Wherever you travel abroad, I'm sure you will make use of it and profit from it.
Yes, so I believe that's actually the end. So after this, I'll be sending you a pre-departure guide with a lot of the details that I've just gone over that you can use later. I'll also be sending you the link to a Facebook page where you can join a group to meet all of the other ECES peers, so I encourage you to do that. And I'll also be sending you that Excel spreadsheet of the course schedule so that you can see how the time blocks work, which courses conflict with which, and also those special sort of extraordinary makeup times for those 3 classes that we mentioned. Does anybody have any questions? If you do, please pop them into the chat box. We'll wait a second. The other thing I'll mention too is that on May 23rd when course registration begins, I will be online for about a half an hour after it starts in case you have any technical issues that you need help with or any really pressing questions. I'll be available via email to answer those. So if you need an answer quickly at that time, please email me. Don't email my colleagues at AIFS because I'm sure they won't be answering emails at midnight that night, but I will be. So I will be the one to contact in case you have course registration issues on May 23rd.
And again, we would not be able to help you with, with at this point with the registration because we can't enter the system. So it's always Katie and ECS, who to contact for any, as we said, academic issues. But Katie, just to follow her up with the emails, you will receive the email from us, from me, with more information about our activities, our culture program, which will be provided on the spot, but we will focus on it, especially during the orientation, which we scheduled after your arrival. So you will have enough information, I believe, from both sides. You will be able to choose, and we'll be just happy, to see you here soon, and after your safe arrival, I believe.
Yes. So if anybody doesn't have any other questions, I think we'll go ahead and end the webinar. But of course, if you think of something afterwards, feel free to either email Renata or myself, and we'll be happy to help you before you arrive in Prague. All right?
Okay.
Have a good day, everybody. Bye.
Bye.